Ahoy everyone, Tightrope here, serving you up another batch of micro tips for Company of Heroes 3. The tips in this video are focused on getting wipes and chasing retreating units, because securing kills can often be the difference between winning and losing the game. When an enemy is extended onto your side of the map, capturing territory, quite often as soon as your unit shows up, the enemy will hit retreat. So in these scenarios, I like to delay my unit running to the territory point and move my army into the enemy's retreat path. Now when my unit shows up and the enemy hits retreat, it is too late. I may lose territory for a bit longer, but securing the wipe more than makes up for it. Panzergrenadier's Vet 1 ability ramps up their rate of fire and burst length, but also slows them down. So if a unit is retreating past Panzergrenadiers and you activate the Vet 1 ability just before they come into firing range, the total amount of damage you do is similar to not using it at all, because your ability to chase them is so compromised. Instead, try to activate it 5 or more seconds before the enemy comes into range. Now the ability has had enough time to ramp up the rate of fire bonuses to make it worthwhile. And in this scenario, I found it slightly better not to chase, because it is not worth the moving accuracy penalty when your move speed is so slow. For more tips on chasing with infantry, check out my guide about firing on the move. One trick that you have probably seen before is timing a grenade throw into the enemy's retreat path. I normally do this when it has a chance of wiping the squad, either with the grenade itself or with some extra follow-up damage after the grenade goes off. Throwing a weak grenade at a healthy and spread out squad is usually a waste of munitions. To time a grenade, you need to be able to predict the unit's retreat path, so doing it in an open field where they are heading in a straight line to base is the easiest. But catching a unit when they are clumped up, like when they need to go around a corner, is the most damaging. I usually find it easier to time retreat grenades when I throw them towards the retreat path rather than against it. The vast majority of grenades have the same fuse time, which is 1.25 seconds from the timer's appearance till damage is dealt. But if the grenade's description says it is cooked, which is more common on elite units like commandos and paratroopers, then it has a shorter fuse time of 0.875 seconds. So you will need to adjust the timing of your throw. Satchel charges have a longer fuse time, but also a much larger AoE radius and damage. This can make them devastating when timed correctly. Normal mines take 10 seconds to plant, so if you have enough time, you can construct mines in the enemy's retreat path. But don't forget, they have a 2 model damage cap. Finally, we have demo charges, the largest explosion AoE yet, and the same 10-second plant time. This is easier to do with regular demo charges compared to the hidden ones that currently have a 3.5 second fuse timer. A Goliath is basically a demo charge on wheels. Sneaking a Goliath along cover into the enemy's retreat path, then using your army to force some retreats is a very easy way to secure squad wipes. Snipers have to spend quite a long time aiming before they can fire, and this timer will get reset if they are forced to turn by their target moving around a lot. This can even deny them a chance to fire in some situations. So when you see a retreating unit coming, if it is safe, move your sniper closer to their retreat path. This way the sniper can get a shot off on approach and one on exit as well. And if the sniper has some rate of fire buffs, like from Vet 2, a small chase immediately after shooting during cooldown may allow for a third shot.
Taking fire! Dealing death! Taking my shot! Engaged by infantry!
For a vehicle like the Stug D that has a Lobbers style projectile, when a unit retreats past, the shell can be too slow to land a good hit, or can even fail to fire altogether. So to avoid this, I recommend putting it onto hold fire, so it doesn't auto-attack. Then right-click drag it to face the enemy's retreat path, and then time an attack ground shot to hit them. And if you are chasing a retreating unit with one of the faster lobbers, like the Centaur, then getting as close as possible minimizes the shell travel time and gives you the best chance of landing damage. Even better if the gun targets the lead model, so the shell hits the ones further back. I have a lot more micro tips about chasing retreating squads with vehicles in my guide about firing on the move with vehicles, so go and check that out. If you manage to decrew your enemy's AT gun and want to steal it with a tow vehicle, if you simply give a right-click command, the vehicle will drive their front on, then try to spin around and hitch it up, which can be super slow and dangerous. Instead, I recommend giving a reverse command next to the weapon, then hold shift and right-click the weapon. This results in a much faster hitch up, and you could even queue up another command to move away immediately after this. Whenever an emplacement gets decrewed in COH3, it loses 3/4 of its health. So if you manage to decrew the enemy's emplacement with infantry, but cannot hang around long enough to finish it off, then consider crewing it with the infantry instead. This way, when the enemy decrews it again, the weapon will get destroyed. When a production building starts making a unit, a light on the building gets turned on. Some of the buildings also have other animations to indicate they are producing a unit, like smoke coming out of the chimney or parts moving around. When you are diving the enemy's base, this is very important information to have. For instance, if the enemy's infantry company is animated, then a grenadier might pop out of it and Faust you, so try to stay far enough away from the building to avoid that. Or if the Panzergrenadier company is animated, then it might be a pack popping out. So if your vehicle would die to one hit from an AT gun, then you might want to leave now before that happens. The light is almost always on the front of the building. So if you manually construct your buildings facing away from the default camera angle, this can make it much harder for the enemy to see if a unit is in production. When an enemy vehicle gets low and I am considering chasing to try and kill it, often I will select the vehicle and hover over here to check how much health it has before committing to the attack. This way you won't get caught out by their vehicle surviving for longer than expected, which would have you overextend in your chase. For this tip to work, you need to know how much damage your vehicle does, so you can calculate how many shots are required to kill the enemy's vehicle. So here is a quick roundup of vehicle damage values. Starting at 280 damage, we have the Elephant. 240 damage is reserved for super heavy tanks and battle group tank destroyers, as well as the towed heavy AT guns. 200 damage is quite rare in COH3. We have the Hellcat with HVAP enabled and the Vet 3 Panther. 160 damage has these three anti-vehicle specialists, as well as the standard AT gun for each of the 4 factions. 120 damage is the most common value in COH3. Here we have the vast majority of medium tanks, most of the remaining heavy tanks, and a few light vehicles. 100 damage is quite rare. We have the unupgraded Crusader, the Matilda, and the Panzer IV command tank. And for 80 damage, we have the Stuart, Greyhound, and Cara Armato, as well as the small guns on the Sharp B1 and the Grant. It's also worth mentioning the handheld weapons that can be fired from open-top transports. The Panzerschreck does 160 damage, super bazookas do 80 damage each, regular bazookas do 60 damage, and AT rifles do 50 damage each. Do you have a tip to help wipe a unit that I didn't include here? Be sure to leave it in the comments below. And remember to like this video and share it with your friends, but not with your enemies. A huge thank you to my Patreon backers who make these in-depth guide videos possible. So if you want more content like this, I hope you consider joining